Okay.
Check, check, check. Okay. Check, check. Got it. All right. Let's try all of that again, you guys. so, So sorry about our little late start there, all on the technical stuff there. So I apologize for that. Today we are going to be learning all about Instagram. And here's the thing, we have lots of tutors that are in our community that are actually getting students from Instagram. So you guys are going to get to learn what are some of the things that they're doing to be able to get students from Instagram. What has their experience been like? And then we're also going to invite you to a free webinar that we're going to be hosting next week called 4 Simple but Critical Tweaks to Turn Followers into Raving Fans on Instagram. And you'll be able to join us for that training. So I'm so glad that you guys are here. We have today Rachel Bertstein joining us, Alishba Zachariah, Esme Lozano, and Divana Kaysen. So glad you guys are here today. Woo! All right, Rachel, I know that Rachel, you guys just had a baby 6 weeks ago. She's got a little one, Emmeline, and Emmeline Faith is sleeping right beside her. So we're going to chat with Rachel in case Emmeline decides that she wants to have a big voice here on YouTube as well. So Rachel, tell everybody about what you tutor, where you're from, and how you got started on Instagram.
Sure. So I'm Rachel. I am from a little town in Connecticut, and I currently tutor English as a second language, reading, and writing. Oh man, it's going to be 2 years now. 2 years ago, in the summer of 2019, I decided to make a business profile on Instagram because I wanted to see if that could expand my reach. With Instagram, because I do a couple of things that are English related, with Instagram, I decided to focus on ESL. And I knew that I could find students within the US who needed English help, but I also wanted to see if I could expand internationally. And so I thought, well, social media would be a great way to do that. And I was already comfortable on Instagram, so I decided to try that. So I started a profile and did a ton of research in how to find and connect with students that way. Mm-hmm. And one of the ways that I found was to connect with other English teachers on Instagram who had already kind of created a following. So one of the first things I started doing was going live with some of these other English teachers I connected with. And that not only helped me to develop relationships with these other teachers, but it also helped me to gain exposure to students from all over the world. And so from there, I also started developing content, and I essentially asked students what they wanted to see and based my content off of that. And so 2 years later, I have gotten dozens of students from Instagram now that I've kind of created a following for myself, but also given students an opportunity to get to know who I am and what it is that I do. I definitely think Instagram is a long-term investment if you're looking for students that way. Esme is nodding, I see that. So it's definitely not something that will happen overnight, but when you put in the time and the effort into the content you're creating or the lives you perform, based on that, you will find that you get students out of it.
Absolutely. And it's absolutely pivotal, I think, about like building relationships with them. Actually, that's how we ended up really starting connecting a little bit more on Instagram. A couple of years ago, I believe it was. I was responding to some of the posts, and you were responding to me, and we were DMing, and then you ended up connecting with me and saying like, hey, how can I get more students? And the rest was like magic. So I mean, this really can work with lots of different industries, you guys. It doesn't just work for tutors. It can work for coaches. It can work for, whatever kind of business that you have. But I think you really nailed something, as you really got to hone in on who that audience is when you do this strategy. Like you also do reading comprehension tutoring, but that's not your focus when you're on Instagram. You're looking to connect with those people that are looking to become a better English speaker, right?
Yes.
And why did you decide to make that transition? Just to focus on that.
Oh, okay. So, I wasn't confident at the time, and I've since changed my mind about it, but I wasn't confident at the time that I would be able to find parents through Instagram. So I focus on middle school and high school when it comes to reading and writing. And I knew that if I created content to the students, that would probably be a little easier for me than creating content for the parents.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of, I guess, my personality, I connect with my students really well. And so I knew if I focused on finding international students who are trying to learn English, I might have more success than if I had tried to focus on content geared towards parents of middle schoolers and high schoolers. So that's
Mm-hmm.
personally why I chose to go that route.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I can't believe dozens of students from Instagram, you guys. Dozens. Like when I think of a dozen, I think 12, dozens, I think 24 more students like from Instagram. That's incredible. If you really break that down, I mean, you can break that down into a number because clients don't stick with you for just 1 month. They keep going with you month after month after month, That's a considerable amount of money that we are talking about in order to do that. It probably replaces your teaching income, the amount of money that you've been able to make. Because were you teaching in the classroom as well before at one point in
Yes.
time? Yeah,
Yeah, I was.
yeah. And you're probably making more money than you were there.
Yes, I am.
Yes. I love when we get to hear those kinds of stories. That's really exciting. That's awesome. We have Esme in the house, you guys, and Esme is like our Instagram cheerleader of our entire community. She's been using Instagram. She got success right out of the gate with using a couple of different strategies with being able to use Instagram. And I think you're such a motivational, character to be able to like help other tutors to be able to really believe in the power of Instagram and what it can do for their business and how it can help them with being able to grow their audience and followers of people that are interested in not only hiring them but then also sharing their content as well with other people that could be a potential client as well. So tell us, Esme, tell us who you are, where you're from, what you tutor, and then also tell us about what got you started with Instagram.
Well, I'm Esme Lozano, best online reading tutor. Yes, that's me right here. But I actually started on Instagram 4 months ago. I this is wonderful when you say about numbers and how you think, oh, I just got one or I just got two, but we're not really saying the numbers. So what I did is I had really, in a sense, mastered Facebook. Like I was very comfortable. I had a strong following. A lot of my clients were coming from there. And I thought, I really should try Instagram. And I think I put up one post, opened the business page, and an acquaintance found me. And she said, oh, I didn't realize you were still tutoring. Okay, so this was an acquaintance. She's in her 30s. And I realized that she was a mom and that she had a child in the range that I wanted to teach. And so I started with, she started with me. I thought, oh, wow, I just happened to, and then she told her friend at the private school. So then the mom hired me to tutor her two children. So I want to just give you like an idea of what one little like mediocre post did for me. So it increased my income. Now 1,020, I think, is what I was able to just get from that. Like I just posted that. I had no plan. I had no strategy. So that really changed my mind about Instagram. And I realized that moms are in that age group and that they are on Instagram. And so then I started getting intentional about what I was doing. And
Mm-hmm.
and I just happened to have started with the mastermind group from the Insiders Club. And I took them on this journey with me. So I said, everybody was feeling like scared to get on there, just overthinking it too much. And I kept saying, remember, I just put this post and look what it got me. Imagine if we start to be very intentional. So that's the journey that we've taken with my mastermind group from the Insiders Club. And here we are. I've gotten 4 clients from Instagram in the 4 months. My increment at income has increased way more. I mean, I'm not even adding those other 3. And I have found it to be more than I have found that the people who don't follow me are the ones that hire me. And the
Mm.
ones who follow me are just my fans, and they keep me up in the light for people to see me and find me. So I do tell tutors that it's not necessarily the ones who are following you that are going to hire you. They're really the ones that follow you are your fans, and they support you and they encourage you. But then come along the people who are ready to find a tutor. And so
Mhm.
here we are. I think it's been 4 months later. I I was on Instagram for a personal page, but I wasn't very, in fact, I was always asking my son, like, what's that hashtag thing? So he can't believe now I'm the one talking about it and I know more than he does. And so that's where I'm at on, and some of the mastermind members have joined today and others couldn't join, but, many of them have gained, new customers through Instagram. I think Sherry just sent a testimonial. Sherry Marcos from
Yeah.
Tutoring Accounting. She was just elated. She had her first client, and the client went on and wrote a long testimonial gave her a review, and she was just thrilled. Because, like Rachel says, you're doing it, and it just seems like nothing's happening, you know.
Mhm.
But when it
Yeah.
starts, it snowballs. And it's not just the clients, but it's the social proof.
Mhm.
So when someone goes to my website and they click on Instagram and they see my presence there, they're convinced that I am a real person, that I really do this. I think people don't realize that Instagram provides that social proof. And because people are so active there, they're constantly seeing you, you're very present. Um, Unlike Facebook's a little slower and things move a little slower, Instagram is a constant. You're being seen on the feed if you're sharing on your stories, if you're sharing your posts. Um, so it has just changed my business, and not just the social proof, not just the income increase, but it has helped me narrow down what it is that I do. Because
Mhm.
I think everything that we do, like Rachel says, it's like you keep adjusting. What is my focus? Because I think all of us come in as generalists, like, oh, I'll teach everything.
Yeah.
And there's no way that I could market to everything.
Right.
I It's hard enough to do one. And
Right.
so it's just been a wonderful experience that I've enjoyed with the mastermind group, and Elishma and Devon are here. And so I'm just really excited about the learning something new together, the accountability that we've been able to provide for each other. I'm improving because I had to guide them. So I was only like 10 steps ahead of them. So that kept me very motivated. Like, oops, I better be consistent.
Right.
So
Yes, yes.
they have surpassed anything that I've shared with them. Elish was here, and if you go to her Instagram, you're just like blown away. But by what she is doing there. So yeah. And
Oh.
Devana, she set up like 30 posts for the month. I said, Devana, that's more than I had when I got started. I had no idea what to do. So she is set up for the month and just,
Nice.
yeah,
That is
doing wonderful things.
fantastic. That is fantastic, and it's helping people to be able to get to know who you are. It does build that know, like, and trust factor, and I think this is something that tutors don't think about is that you are getting researched. When people think about hiring you, they're not going to try to hire you blind online. Think about the process you go through when you want to hire somebody, right? An independent contractor for anybody. It could be an independent contractor for your yard. You're going to go online, you're going to search their name, and you're going to find out what can I find out about them. The same is true for tutoring. And when they start seeing the stuff that you're giving them to see, like you have your Instagram on your website, they click on that. It does provide that social proof on there, and so it can definitely help with your expertise level and being seen as an expert, especially if you go about doing this in the right way. I would love to hear, Devon, I would love to hear your story. So Devon, tell us more about who you are, what you tutor, where you're from, and how did you get started with Instagram? Oh, we just got to get you off mute here because you're on mute. Let's do that. There we go.
Okay, thank you. Devonna Kason. I'm from South Carolina, the North Charleston area, and I help parents and their middle and high school students who are wanting to learn Spanish to become more fluent and improve their grades in as little as 8 to 10 weeks. I started joining in onto Esme's mastermind group, and although I had watched a few videos on YouTube about this person's plan 2 weeks of content in 2 hours, and someone else said, oh, this is how you organize it, none of them were in our genre. None of them were tutors, let alone online tutors, let alone language tutors. So the content wasn't relevant, and the categories either. So Esme has been really good and pivotal for giving me simple instructions, keeping it clear, answering questions, and just very visual and demonstrating how to do it. Me being a visual learner, that's what I needed. And then just challenging me and pushing me heads on. I actually had, I should say this, conditioner in my hair one afternoon, and she invited me, oh, can I call you now with a Zoom? I'm like, now? I had conditioner, plastic cap on my head. I said, sure, and just making herself available above and beyond, what was even asked. I appreciate that. Yeah. And so I just started this Instagram channel. And so she's taught a lot about the strategies. I just started my Instagram channel last month, right before the middle of March, believe it or not. And I have about almost 50 followers. So
nice.
Just lovely. Thank you.
So it started to grow for you and get the word on out there. Have you noticed like an increased engagement compared to other places that you've been going online to be able to get students?
Not yet, not noticeably yet. Okay. So I'm working on those.
Yeah. And it comes with time. In the beginning, it feels like there's nobody that you're talking to at all. But that's just like anything. We all start with zero, right? When it comes to social media, nobody starts with like 5,000 people. Like sometimes those other videos will lead you to believe, right? We all start with zero and we all build from there. And it's one relationship at a time. And so if you continue to, build those relationships, amazing results will happen. I know, Rachel, how long did it take before you were able to get your first student with Instagram?
I think 2 months.
Okay. So yeah, and when you're getting started, 2 months can sound like forever, right? It feels like you're putting in all this time or this effort and like nothing is happening. So, just know that if you are consistent with it, it is definitely going to pan out with some really good results for you. Elishma, I want to hear more about you. Elishma has a really good, she helps her husband with the social media marketing for, is it Tabla?
Tabla, yes.
Tabla.
So it's yeah.
Which is a really cool instrument. It looks like a drum for those of you who've never heard of a tabla before. So tell us more about how you guys got started on Instagram and what's happened for you guys.
Yeah, we are from London, so I'll just say where I'm from. And basically we worked for a number of years in person. So when COVID hit, we took everything online, and then I found your platform, and then kind of funneled into participating in Esme's group on a regular basis, and I had no social media presence, so the only thing we had online was a website. And we needed to get that, through Esme's classes, we learned that, you need that social proof and, digital footprint. And basically I didn't have enough. So I only started when I joined Esme's class. So like Esme said that, we have really literally gone on this journey together. So I started with zero. And the biggest thing I found is that you don't need a lot of followers, because people don't always come to your Instagram first. They may see you in other places, or other people may recommend you, or they come through the website. And I find it's really good when people are making an inquiry via your website. And in between the inquiry and them thinking about it, I send them the Instagram link. And once they see all the videos and the content and they see how passionate you are about the subject, that in-depth knowledge, then they actually don't question your credibility. And they know you're there for real. They get to see your personality. Esme's been telling us to do reels. So, that's something I've started doing. And it's gone from 1 minute to 30 seconds to 15 seconds. Initially, I was like overwhelmed with how do I possibly say anything in 15 seconds? But now, because the first few, I have to say, were not very good. But I would say in the last week, they've they have improved, because I've kind of, just by doing, I've understood how it should be done. And the key thing for us is that that parents actually feel more comfortable with us. And we are not just relying on people in London. There's people from Europe who've had students from America, and they feel, that like they know you even before they've, picked up the phone. So that's the key thing. And then they continue to follow you. So even when they become your student, because we keep adding information onto the Instagram, and we're just constantly there in their mind. So then they recommend us to their colleagues or, friends. And so that, so it's worked really well. I think you do require time to think about it. And the other tip I will give is don't listen to your teenagers, because teenagers have a very different perspective of Instagram. We are using it as a business, and your teenagers always think you're not cool enough. So that actually knocked my confidence, because teenagers just say how it is. They don't kind of sugarcoat it. But then when I started working with Esme, I thought, actually, I don't need to listen to them. I am actually looking at it from, a business perspective, which is completely different. Mm-hmm. So that's my story.
Yeah, and they don't, and your teenagers don't come from that business perspective. I remember I posted something on my profile, and my daughter's like, "You don't post that on your profile." I'm like, I think I have a different purpose here. Yeah, they really don't get it. So I'm curious from you guys, how often do you guys post, and what kinds of things do you post? And anybody can jump on in. Yeah, Alishba.
Well, I post every day. Initially, it was kind of like, what can you post, and how, and it's, initially I found that really difficult, but I gradually built it up. So I tried to do something that's educational, something that shows, the kind of the core structure that we teach, and then videos. And then on the last day, I tried to do kind of more salesy posts, because I think it's don't be afraid to sell. Right. So I kind of build them up through the week. I've only recently started doing that. But the more you think about it, and the more ideas that we have through Esme's group, the more possibilities you see of adding valuable content. But it comes easier now, whereas before there's no way I would have done 5 days. But now it is literally every day. And I use Canva to, they have a calendar. And just recently they are allowing you to link it to Instagram, which is a big time saver.
Huge time saver.
Yeah.
Yes, huge blessing. Love it, which is amazing. I love how technology is always changing and growing and making our lives easier. Like when I saw that, I was like, "Thank you, God. I've been waiting for this moment," which is very cool. Esme, what would you like to add to that?
Well, she mentioned many things. Instagram serves as an icebreaker. By the time you meet a parent, in my case, a parent, some have college students, they've already heard my voice. They've already seen me. When I first started on Instagram, just to jump in, I started to do Friday interviews. So I interviewed Sherry and Angela and Christina Garrison. And so that was a good way for me. Like, I'm jumping in and you need to do this, because I didn't want to just kind of do it. So I started like strong, and and I admire Rachel that she can do her stories, and I'm very impressed by what she does. And what's unique about Instagram is that your personality comes through. Whatever your superpower is, whether even with our mastermind group that, we've been walking this journey, they all have their personalities and their strengths, and they just go and they run with it and leave me behind, because, everybody has their strengths. And as they get confident, because I think what's missing for most tutors is they feel like they don't know what to post about, how often should they post. And so like what I did is I just told them, okay, we're going to do 4 top categories. And I'm looking at them because I want to say them: instructional, introduction to benefits, inspirational, and invitation to engage. So those are the 4 key things that I make sure that I do. And engaging is mostly through stories and interacting and using polls and stickers and questions and answers and things like that. And there are 3 categories that I do when I need to, which is introducing myself again, saying, hi, I'm Esme, by the way. And, because your feed can go on forever and then they don't see who you are. I also celebrate my students. I celebrate their birthdays. I celebrate national days. Those are excuses to post and to connect with really a national holiday. And I always welcome my students. So I tell the tutors in Mastermind, that's an opportunity for people to see that you're getting new clients, that you're a real person, that people are hiring you. And that's probably what I started with when I first started on Instagram. I just started saying, I welcome, like I have a new student, Yahia. I welcome Yahia, and I made it on Canva nicely, and I posted it. And even parents who are current clients are saying, oh my goodness, you have a lot of students. Yes, I do. Even they feel like, whoa, you're a business and you're growing. I had one parent say, oh, I didn't know you were all that, So I'm like, I'm not, but okay, yeah, sure, I'll take it. So do understand that the social proof, the ice breaking, when a client contacts me from like tutors.com, for example, I always say, go to my Instagram, check it out, read my reviews. So before we even have a conversation, maybe we talked Monday and we're going to meet on Tuesday, they've already gone to my Instagram. So the work that you do one time is going to pay off for the long haul. So definitely, I agree. And I've seen Alishba grow so much. I am just amazed. She's the one that's running the Instagram, and her husband is the one who's giving the lessons. And I've seen her transition into giving her husband a voice so that we get to know him. And that is what has brought it to another level.
Yes, I love that. I saw the post that you did, Alishba, with your husband and your son that were playing. That was really, really cool.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Yeah, it's quite hard when you're trying to voice someone else's personality. So that's taken me time to do. So I find videos are very helpful.
I want to hire Alishba now. Just do my stuff. and then I just want to give props to Devonna, because it's like she had a lot of questions, and I thought, sometimes it's this one thing that's keeping us from doing it, right? It might be like, oh, do I have to add hashtags, or what do I have to do for the caption, or how do you, whatever it might be. And that's why I said, okay, because she was asking a couple of questions. I said, that's it. Let's get on a call, get on Zoom. Let's get it going. And hi, Angela. And we were able to develop 30 days with one idea. She created 30 days of content that relate to her field and that helps people. Basically, she's telling them, you already know more Spanish than you think. And she does it through cognates. And so every day it's a different word that you can see English words that sound just like very similar to Spanish words. And so she's trying to bridge that. And so I'm so excited. And she created some great Canva posts. And so I'm like, you're so lucky. It's like you with Jumpstart, Joanne, like, you didn't have anyone to guide you. So you were just kind of like aimlessly, like hit and miss, and to get someone to guide you. And then after that, I mean, you're going to pick up on all the extras that come with Instagram, and you might be brave like Rachel and go on stories. Like, I love that. And, you know, everyone has their personality. Angela is here, and I don't know if she's going to be on video, but Angela's superpower is video. That's it. Like, she gets on video and I want to hire her, you know, when I hear her speak. And so I don't know if Angela wants to share her experience with Instagram. Angela, you want to unmute?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, not video ready. Apologize. In the day, my day job is stay-at-home mom, and so I don't have to put on makeup or a face until I start tutoring in the afternoon. So I appreciate you not letting me show you my raggedy self right now. But video, yeah, I didn't even really know that was my superpower, but I think that with time, it's just like with Joanne when I went through the Jumpstart program. It really is about time, and with trying to juggle what I have right now, because I have I do have a smaller elementary school student, so he does need me a lot, and taking on the role of homeschooling, I'm doing it because it's quicker. And I just already kind of got past the fear of like, it's not ever going to be perfect. So I think that's the big thing with people, is just that perfectionist. Joanne talks about it all the time. So just get out there, do it. I could critique everything. I want to delete everything, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I'm a real person. And I think that the families that I'm trying to get and relate to, I just want them to see my heart, see my eyes, know I'm sincere. And that's really what it's about. So thank you, Esme, though. But I love that you've called it a superpower. So you're awesome. And I've learned a lot from you as well.
I love it. I love it. So how do you show your personality on Instagram? Because that is really a big piece as well about like Instagram. There's so many different features. There's the reels, there's stories, there's, your profile page. How do you guys share your personality with the world on Instagram?
Yeah. Rachel, come on, share.
Yeah, before that baby wakes up. That baby's going to wake up at some point.
She's been squawking, so that's why I've been like chilling in the background. But I love going live. And the funny thing is, at the beginning, it just felt really awkward because you're constantly looking at that marker to see how many people are watching at the time. And, it's kind of sad when you don't see that many people. So you're thinking, well, I'm just talking to an empty room. What's the point? But I find that with lives, I can just experiment with different things. I remember this past Christmas, actually, Christmas Eve, I was baking an apple pie or something. And so I decided to go live and see if any followers wanted to come on. And then we played a game with idioms, I think it was just something really casual while I was baking, and the followers got a kick out of it. So I honestly just go live and talk about things that I am passionate about or that I enjoy, or while I'm doing an activity that I really enjoy, and the followers really like that because they get to see who I am, realizing that I am a real person, and that my expertise does shine through as well.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. And what a great way to show off your personality. How about others?
Well, I think also that you're going to refer, as for me, like I'm super booked. I'm at the point where I can't really take students. And when I hear that there's a need, I'm going to refer that tutor that is present. That's just the bottom line. Like, even for Rachel's, Instagram page, I have a group of ladies that I help with ESL. It's just something I've always done. And I tell them, if you really want to get something very systematic online, I want you to follow Rachel. And like, I tell them, I do. And I don't think we realize that other tutors are cheering us on when they see us putting in the work. And that they feel like I can trust Rachel because I know she's serious about her business, and that I can, send people to her page and the magic will happen eventually, because she's working her business consistently, and that's what it's about as far as social presence. So it's a lot of times, I referred a student to Angela because
Mhm.
working with her through Mastermind and seeing her like really work at Instagram, like I thought I can trust her. Like she has a work ethic that, I can trust. And a lot of times we don't realize that we're all kind of checking each other too. We're checking each
Mhm.
other out. I've said this before. I've hired tutors from Jumpstart, Christina and Anna. They didn't know I was checking them out, but I needed a tutor for my own son. So just know that your next client might be that tutor
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
sometimes we feel like, oh, it's only tutors that are following me, like, oh, I get you.
Yeah, and
But
that should be like, and I have that a lot because tutors are getting to know you as you come on into Jumpstart. More tutors are getting to know you. This is called networking, guys, right?
yes,
Networking with the right people. And when you network, a lot of people would love to be able to network with other teachers who have like a classroom of kids, but a
yes,
lot of times they don't have the same kind of passion about being on on platforms like Instagram and being able to build their classroom, right? Like they're not trying to get students or anything like that. But here in the tutoring world, we're all here to support each other, and we've really this community, we've built this trust of people who've gone through. We had a great question. Somebody said, what is this fantastic mastermind group that you're talking about? So let me kind of break that down a little bit. We've got a lot of times people that are just getting started or want to learn how to get students, they go through what's called the Jumpstart Your Online Tutoring Business Masterclass. That course will open up in a couple of weeks. You'll be hearing some more stuff about that. After people kind of join that, they then can join the Insider Secrets Club. The Insider Secrets Club, you continue to learn about ways to be able to grow your tutoring business and grow your income. Along with, you get to actually network with other tutors, like through a mastermind group, and you get to ask questions and really be part of our community. So right now, we have a new course that's going to be coming out. It's called Rock the Gram. And I have a free webinar on Monday that you're able to attend if you would like to. I'm going to give you guys a link right inside of here. But the free training is called 4 Simple but Critical Tweaks to Turn Followers into Raving Fans on Instagram. And this is all about, what are some of those things that I can do to really start increasing an Instagram presence, letting people know that I am a tutor who's still in business, right? That's one of the things that people are wondering. Like they're nervous that if they reach out to somebody, that either they're too full to be able to take on clients, or they are no longer a tutor anymore and they're looking at something old. When you have an Instagram presence, this allows them to know that you have a current business right now, active, alive, on fire, and that you're open to be able to take requests if that's what they would like to move on with. So you're going to get to learn all these amazing strategies of what are the different features of Instagram that you're going to be able to utilize. And all of this is going to lead into then a course. If you choose that you want to continue your learning and continue that knowledge, you'll be able to do that path with our Rock the Gram course. And so, when you invest in your own knowledge when it comes to learning about these kinds of strategies, these are income making opportunities for you. This isn't like when you learned something in the school system and you had to sit through like a 3-day training and you didn't really feel like you got anything out of it and you weren't ever able to apply it again. Like these are strategies that actually will help you make income. And the first time we try to think about this, we think about, oh my gosh, it's going to cost me something. But at the end of the day, the money that I throw on into it, if it helps me learn to be able to increase my presence, it is worth it to be able to invest in that kind of way. Now, inside of Instagram, there is a important feature. It's called hashtags. Why are hashtags important on Instagram? Anyone want to tell me this? I know the answer, but I just want to get other people's input. Yeah, Esme.
you want to have a reach beyond your followers.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you're on Facebook, for example, it's so hard to reach certain groups, because if you go into a Facebook group, they have very strict rules about what can be posted and what can be said. When you use a hashtag, all it is, it's just basically think of it as a library of places where people can find something on. If I'm tutoring, or if I have a child and I'm teaching them math with Saxon Math, they might go and put hashtag Saxon Math and see what's going on, what other people are doing. If I put a hashtag Saxon Math, if I were teaching math, it would connect them to me as a math tutor, which I'm not, I'm a reading tutor. So it's a way to connect with people beyond your following. And you will find, once you master the hashtagging, you will get reach 70%, 80% reach outside of your following. So that means you're reaching people that haven't even decided to follow you yet. And they do begin to follow, or they begin to comment. You see them appearing, watching your stuff. So that's what you want. You want your name to get around. You want them to see best online reading tutor all over the place, right? It's convincing. You want a West London Tabla, Rachel, you become a recognizable brand to them. So when the time comes, I've had a client who just went on and just found me, and she doesn't even follow me.
Yeah, and this is all about creating yourself as a brand. This is what's going to make you guys stand out from all the other tutors that are out there. Yes, you can get a couple of students from Wyzant. Yes, you can go to tutors.com. You can get a couple of students just to get started, just to, get your feet wet, dabble in it, see if you like it, right? You can play around in there. Once you decide that you're serious about your business, you need to now start thinking about presenting yourself as a business, not as a we. Right, a lot of people will mistake this, and then on their website they put "we," about us.
She.
Yeah, as. But here's the thing that makes you stand out. It's that you are a you. You are an individual. You are one person. They can hire you. They're not gonna find you and then you're gonna send them off to somebody else on your team to work with them. You get to work with them. And so then that gets to be something that is really priceless to them. Oh, I get to choose my tutor. How cool is that? Because if they were to go with a company, they can't choose their tutor. The company's going to try to sell it as, we'll choose the right tutor for your child. They might only have one tutor. What do you mean the right tutor for my child? Right? Here, the parents actually get to make the decision. They can take a look at your personality. Well, what is their personality like? Do I like who they are? Do I like how they present themselves? Do they seem professional? Do they, they're looking at all of those things when they're making the decision if they want to be able to hire you. So I think this is what really makes you stand out. Anybody else use hashtags here and they've been able to grow a following because of hashtags? Yeah, Lishba.
But what I tend to find is that on Instagram you have impressions. And sometimes I find 70% of people who have seen the Instagram post are not actually following me. So what I've learned is impressions are more important than actual likes or, follows. So that works really well for me. And then people then have got in touch with us through hashtags, people who just come across us accidentally. And it allows me to think about the lifestyle of the individuals I'm trying to target. So it's obviously because we work with children, it's families. So it's looking at different hashtags around families in London and the lifestyle they have. So you can work with it in different ways and get them, in their kind of different moods. So it could be hashtag family restaurants in London, for example. Because they will be looking at that. So there's all sorts of random hashtags which I never thought of, but actually they work. Mm-hmm. So the hashtags are not always logical, because I'm not going to choose just music hashtags. I'm going to choose the lifestyle of that individual parent, and I'm quite clear on the parents we are targeting.
Yeah. And it's all about having that complete package of hashtags, a well-rounded hashtag plan. And that's exactly what we develop as if you choose to go through the Graham course, where, I'll be sharing about on Monday at the end, if you join our webinar. But I'll be sharing all about it is all about creating an actual list of hashtags that you can kind of choose from. And you take a look at what is your image as well, because you don't want to be seen as spam. If you just throw hashtags on out there, and they're not relevant to what it is that you're posting, Instagram's going to understand that game pretty quickly. They've seen it time and time again, and they call it spam. So you don't want to be seen as somebody that is spamming. You want to be seen as somebody who's professional. Rachel, how do you use hashtags with your content?
I mean, I think Esme and Elishba said what I would say as well. I think it's interesting because originally when I first started on Instagram, I had no idea what the point of hashtags were because I didn't understand how people could find them. But it turns out instead of just following profiles, you can also follow hashtags. Mm-hmm. And so not only has that helped me gain exposure for my own page, but I've also been introduced to other teachers as well by following certain hashtags. So I did some research on some of the popular hashtags that are followed by ESL students and kind of went off of that in determining what hashtags to include with each of my content. And mm-hmm. I have a certain number of hashtags that will show up for every single one of my posts, but then there are a couple that vary depending on the type of content within the post as well. So yeah, that's a little bit about how I use them.
That's awesome. And I love that you can follow those hashtags too. And that's how, like on Facebook, you can join groups, but I'd have to say that if you were to join a group on Facebook, let's say you were targeting like homeschool moms, they kind of don't want you in your group because they only want people who are homeschool moms because they've been sold to so many times. They just want a place where they can go and just be. But now if you go onto Instagram and you're posting things that are relevant for homeschool moms and it's valuable to them, then it's a way for you to be able to get noticed. I know it even works with like videos and stuff. I mean, any time of content creation that you do, when you are creating content that's going to be valuable to your ideal client, you're going to get seen more. And so you want to think about starting conversations with those people that are going to be people that are going to purchase your programs or your own tutoring services, and what can you do to be able to do that. So last thing I think is kind of important. How often do you guys put like a call to action in your posts?
All the time.
I put one in. Oh yeah. Every post.
Every post. And why is that, Devana?
So that they will know what the next step is. Anyone viewing or anyone who's just looking for someone else. Well, that's nice. Are they just posting just to post, or do they want me to do something? It addressed that question. And then also, just as also mentioned, it's important to have your logo and your handle, Instagram mm-hmm. handle on each post's content as well.
Mm-hmm. I tell them, like, when you go check out at a store, right? And every debit machine is different. I don't know, like, they have like, donate to this. And so there's different questions. And I love it when the cashier will say, do you want to donate? And they kind of walk me through it, right? They're like, telling me, do you want to donate to literacy? Yes or no? And so they kind of help you to move along. Of course, they want to move you along. So you're not like, what do I do next? And I tell them that, the call to action actually tells them what to do next. We don't realize that people will go on there and go like, how do I get in touch with her? And maybe they don't DM on Instagram. They're not familiar with that, but you're telling them, like, I tell them, like, what can you do? Okay, so go click on my Smart Bio link. After you do that, click on the free online reading assessment tab. And I tell them what's next. And so one of my clients I got because I actually posted something that had the 3 steps to get in touch with me. So nice. She saw that, and then it was like, it's clear. Okay, this is how you do it.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like you weren't leaving it up to, and call to action could be the very next step to working with you, or it even could be a call to action could be to engage with you. So a call to action could also be like, I know you do this a lot, Rachel, where you'll have people ask questions or put a response inside of the comments and get more people kind of talking, because the more that you actually are engaging people on Instagram, remember it's social, right? Yeah. This means that it's social media. It's not me just throwing out all my content. You have to engage with your people on there too. So what are some other calls to actions that you've included, Rachel?
So I usually always include, if you like this post, like follow me, basically. But yes, I find that with engagement, it's best if I have some sort of call to action in the post itself for them to engage me in my comments.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on the type of content I'm sharing, that will determine what kinds of call to action I suggest. So, for instance, I'm starting up a book club for ESL learners. And so just yesterday, I shared a post asking if people want to join and kind of listing the steps of what they could do in order to reach out and let me know that they're interested. So I think it does depend a bit on the content itself, but yeah, every post has some sort
I
of.
read it. Like I did read it. I was like, oh, okay, how does she do this? Yes.
I love that. I
I'm
love
a
that.
fan. Sorry, Rachel. I'm a fan.
I love you, Esme. Thank you.
See, this is what happens, you guys. Like, we have to forget that. I think people forget that other tutors are people. Right? Like, we're people. We actually do have children of our own. We care about getting the best education for our kids. We care about education, number one, right? Like, there are a group of people who probably don't care about education. I don't hang out with them, but there's probably a group of them that don't, and that's fine. But us tutors are just such a different, rare type of person, and we really do care about being able to help other people and get them the right tutor. And if somebody's not a right tutor for me, I'm gonna pass them along to somebody who is going to be a right tutor, because first of all, I don't even have room in my day to be able to take on a client that's not a right fit for me. Right. So, I don't have the time to do the research to figure out how to work with them or do all that, and I'm not going to take that. So if you're not a right fit for me, I'm passing you on. And I think that people don't realize that kind of stuff is happening within our community, and it's a huge blessing. The more you get active, the more you can do that, the quicker you're going to be able to have the amount of students that you want with your tutoring business, and you have more freedom and flexibility. Like Rachel just took off. How long did you take off for maternity leave with having your daughter?
I took off 4 weeks.
Nice. And now you're like, I'm ready to go back.
Yes, it was so exciting to go back to work.
It's wonderful to be able to have the flexibility to be home, but it's also wonderful to be able to work with it. Like, I needed the break when my kids were little. Like, I felt like when I got to tutor kids that I was actually taking a break from being a mom. And I remember how much I just appreciated that, and I love that. So you guys, if you haven't had a chance to sign on up for our free webinar that we're doing, you can get to learn more about Instagram and 4 simple but critical tweaks that you can turn followers into raving fans. You definitely want to join us on Monday, 10 o'clock a.m. Central Time, and click on that link and be able to join us for that. And I just want to say thank you so much to you guys that came just to share your experience with using Instagram here with us. Rachel, Alishba, Esme, Devana, and Angela, thank you so much for sharing what your experience has been like. Any last, for those people that are on the fence about even using Instagram and they need a little bit more help and coaching, what advice would you give them?
Just
I'll speak on that.
Yeah, Angela.
The known face here, but I will just tell you that Esme is the best cheerleader person to come alongside you, inspire you, educate you, really give you the nudges that you need to get out there. She's been a wonderful mentor, and I just love her. She's made the masterclass worth it to me. It's like, oh, I missed it, like, because life happens, but because I know there's going to be a gem in there every week, and it's like, I want to get her gem. So, so I would just recommend, everybody really, try it with Esme. She just, she could coach you up and really help you to just get out there and, and it's guilt-free too, because like I said, we are busy and everyone's in different stages of, where they're at, where their comfort level is. And she's able to, she can reach you at every stage. And offer just what you need, so, Anyway, that's my recommendation because Esme is a superstar.
She
Uh-oh.
is.
Uh-oh.
She is. And so for those of you that do end up deciding after you come to our webinar, if you do want to join Rock the Gram, you get an opportunity to work with Esme. So it's definitely going to be worth it. I promise you that. So awesome stuff. Any other wisdom advice that you guys would like to give people on the fence?
I would say you could possibly learn yourself by watching YouTube videos and asking around. But actually, what you waste a lot of time by doing that. So I think because we all have limited time, and if you want to get your business going, then I see this as an investment expense, and it's a good investment of your time, and you're learning how to do it, and you're not, if you just watch a video, you're just kind of stuck in your own headspace. Whereas if you go to Esme sessions, it's interactive, you get to ask questions, you get feedback. And the good thing is you get to know other tutors, and you are all on the same journey. You're kind of making similar mistakes, and, there's no embarrassment. Every mistake, you learn from every mistake, and you grow. And when we are at the point of making mistakes and feeling uncomfortable, that means we are actually learning. And Esme's class allows you to do that. So.
I thank you, Elizabeth and Angela. I want to say that, I have done other trainings with other Instagram communities, and I've learned a lot, but, they're not set up for tutors. Right? Mm-hmm. They're set up for other kinds of businesses, and it's really hard for them. When they're saying you'll have thousands of followers, and it's very different for us. We don't need 1,000 followers. We couldn't handle that many people inquiries. And the other thing is that, they promote a lot of followers. They're not speaking to the tutor. I feel like Rock the Gram and all that we're doing with Instagram connects it to our prior knowledge, and which is Jumpstart. It's all there. There's the foundation that Joanne you've set for us, but now we're just kind of like translating it into another platform. Mm-hmm. And so if you've been through Jumpstart or Insiders Club or Follow Ultimate Support Group, that you have some foundational things that you've shared through your YouTube videos, but now we're just kind of putting it together, and we're holding each other accountable for getting it done. Mm-hmm. Let's get it done because it's good for your business. So I would say that it is a time saver, and the community that you attract, Joanne, is like no other, because I've moved in other Instagram communities and I don't want to speak. I'm intimidated.
Yeah. It does become very different. Well, thank you guys again for joining us today, and for sharing your stories of success with Instagram, what it can do for you and your business, how it can increase your expertise. And hopefully you guys will join us on Monday as we share the 4 simple but critical tweaks that you guys can make that is going to make you turn those followers into raving fans. So thanks again, you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.